And the part I miss the most is classic Shanwoo's commands. Original Shanwoo had his commands to be performed like any other character of the game, that's holding a direction and pressing a button. But the interesting part came with the classic. Shanwoo performed almost all his commands by tapping twice a button. That was done maybe because of the loss of some moves and the overall lacking gameplay, but it made him more accessible and fun to use, because the easy and fluid ways you could start a combo and link some special moves, including the throws and command moves. It also increases greatly his combo potential, for being a grappler. And that was perfect because Shanwoo used to be one of the starter characters of the game. That's the ones made available to every new player. So it was really accessible to new gamers. The new version undid that too, and while some of his original combos are still sort of available, they are harder and less fun to use. And some things are still to be missed. For example, because of the removal of his aerial attack, the jumping knee attack is basically senseless here. And that goddamn aerial attack was one of the signature and funniest parts of his gameplay. And as you must guess, it's extremely hard trying to explain how it feels to control a character, and how fun is to play with it. But I assure you that I, for myself, saw Shanku's gameplay as a very special and unique experience, and now it's completely gone. So Shanku's gameplay is drastically different now. It is more effective, yes, and he has most of his classic moves, but the style is not much alike the one we used to have, and it's nowhere to be found in the game. I mean, yeah, his original gameplay was flawed, but it could be fixed. There was no need to turn him into a completely different fighter. That's just not how you do the things. The transition between the original and the classic version of the character changed a few things, but classic Shanwoo was still very loyal in spirit to the original Shanwoo's game style. I mean, it didn't feel like he was a completely different character. To make my point, I think to fix Shanwoo they would have only needed giving him his animal bite special move back. I mean, this move was very nice. There's no unofficial explanation for which Shanwoo had that move removed, but my theory is this. If you take a close look to the original Shanwoo sprite in motion, you can see his animations are pretty smooth, way smoother than the other characters. Thus, it looked very weird compared to them. I guess that's why they decided to remodel the character, but some of his moves had its hitboxes hard to determine and so they better remove them. But I don't think it will have been a big deal giving him that move back. And then they could have buffed up Shanwoo's command throws, but in reach, damage and priority. Then give him a C plus D animation and new max animations. Probably return his original Rambo super as a max super move or as his secret super, I don't know. That could have been a very comprehensive new version of Shanwoo. But who knows why they didn't do that. I have a certain hope on something my friend Kobe said, that because of the new boxer character announced, Andre, they might be trying to split Shanwoo into two different fighters, one with wrestling moves and one with boxing moves. So probably will Andrew play like the old Shanwoo? Who knows? Maybe Animal Bite was taken from Shanwoo to give it to Andre, along some other elements of his original gameplay. That would make me very happy, but I prefer not to get too wishful for this because nothing is guaranteed. Other people advocate for an EX version of Shanwoo with his original moveset, but that sounds extremely unlikely. As for the visuals, I don't like very much the retouches on Shanwoo's sprite. They changed his hairstyle and facial features into ones less cool and more primitive, what includes a very prominent jaw. While this could be more of a throw to the race thing, when you eliminate the modern elements of his outfit and introduce dated ones instead, like T-Hawk, that makes him more of a dull and generic native. I preferred very much the original one. Well, at least his max moves, because of the new animation, look more badass than ever. Still, I have a problem with his throw super. I mean, this has two different versions, the close one and the far away one. But the close one is simply the regular command throw again. They should have added him a different animation because it looks nothing spectacular. And again, Neo Shanwoo's secret super is pretty weird. The animation when he raises his arm is recycled from his anti-air throw, but still doesn't look bad. The fact is, the rest of the animation is not exactly great. It simply petrifies the opponent into a grey frozen pose. It couldn't help of reminding me of that stupid dance from Shang Kohan in The King of Fighters 2002. And the properties of the move itself are very weird, but at least it's useful and interesting. So in the end, and trying to overcome my personal tastes, I could say I don't like that they changed this much Shangwoo's style. The costume change were a mess as well as essentially unnecessary. I appreciate the way they improved his gameplay, and it is very fun per se, as well as really effective, although not as original as the classic Shangwoo. Some guys say Shangwoo is now a step away from being a Belle from Street Fighter. Well, maybe. I just didn't like that they didn't keep the unique command attacks input from the previous version of Shanwoo. I miss too much the original gameplay, and it's very bad now it is nowhere to be found. Especially when you take in count Neo Shiba was probably way more necessary. What I can say for sure is that while Shanwoo used to be my absolute favorite of all the characters of the game, now he is not. That will probably change if the original costume was back. Up to this point, I will accept it even as an alternative costume only. But it absolutely has to be back. Listen to me carefully. It has to be back. See you in the next review.
我等的就是这一天。